Hey guys, alright, today we are doing bar graphs. We are going to be reading bar graphs and making bar graphs. So bar graphs are another way to graph data. A bar graph uses bars to show data. So in this example of a bar graph, you can see these bars are showing the data of the number of children playing games. So look at where the bars end. This tells how many. So when you look at this bar, wherever the bar ends is telling you how many. Wherever this bar ends tells you how many. So down here you see numbers. These numbers down here tell you the number of children. And then on the side here, you can see outdoor game. So outdoor games are basketball, jump rope, soccer, and tag. You can see here the number of kids playing basketball. I'm looking at where the bar ends is 6. If I want to know how many kids are playing tag, I look at the end of the tag bar, and the number is 5. Alright, so we're going to look at this bar graph over here. This bar graph is marbles in a bag. So in a bag, there are different colored marbles. Down here, it tells us the colors. We have red, blue, green, and purple. And over here, it tells us the number of marbles. Now, this bar graph looks different than the other bar graph that we just saw. So bar graphs can go either way. They can go up and down like this, or like in the other one, they were going side to side. Either way, you get the same data from them. So you can do them any way you want them. Okay, so our first question says, how many green marbles are in the bag? So I'm going to look at the green section, or the green bar. The green bar ends at 4, so that means there are 4 green marbles in the bag. My next question is, how many more blue marbles than purple marbles are in the bag? So first I need to figure out how many blue marbles there are and how many purple marbles there are. There are 6 blue marbles. So I'm going to do 6 minus, and there are 3 purple marbles. 6 minus 3 equals 3. So there's 6 more blue marbles than there are purple marbles. All right, how many marbles are in the bag? So that means we need to count up how many all together there are. So we're going to add the red, the blue, the green, the purple all together. So we have 2 red, 6 blue, 4 green, and 3 purple. 2 plus 6 equals 8, and 4 plus 3 equals 7. 8 plus 7 equals 15 marbles. So there are 15 marbles in the bag. All right, our next bar graph we're going to look at is favorite places to go. So we're going to use this bar graph, this data, to answer these questions down here. So my first question is, how many children chose the beach? So I'm going to look at where that bar ends, the beach bar ends, and it ends at the number 6. That means there's 6 children that chose the beach as their favorite place to go. Which place did the fewest children go? So this one, I just need to look at what bar is the shortest, because that means the least amount of people voted for that. In looking, my smallest bar is the museum. So the fewest kids chose the museum as their favorite place to go. Number 6 says, how many more children chose the zoo than the aquarium? So we can see, looking at this bar, the end of the bar shows me 8. So we need to do 8 minus 4, which equals 4. 4 more children. And then how many children chose a place that was not the zoo? So we gotta look at the 3 places that were not the zoo and add those numbers together. So we have 4 plus 6 plus 3. 4 plus 6 is 10, and 10 plus 3 is 13. Super easy, right? All right. Now we're looking at trees at the farm. We're looking at the types of trees there are at the farm. So on the side here is going to give us the number of trees there are of each type of tree. Number 9 says, how many trees are at the farm? Well, that means we need to count up all of the trees. So we have 6 plus 3 plus 7 plus 2. 6 plus 3 is 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 9 is a doubles fact, so that equals 18. My next question is, how many trees are not apple trees? So we need to add up the 3 trees that are not apple. So we have 6 plus 3 plus 7. 7 plus 3 is 10, and 6 plus 10 is 16. All right, suppose 7 more trees are brought to the farm. How many trees would be at the farm? Explain. Well, we already know there are already 18 trees at the farm. There are already 18 trees at the farm. So all I need to do, I need to add 18 plus 7, which equals 25. All right, so now we are going to make bar graphs. We just looked at bar graphs, and now we're going to make them. So on this bar graph down here, this is showing us books read, and it's telling us how many books each of these kids read. And it wants us to finish out the bar graph. So we need to figure out how many Kara read and how many Jamila read. So Abel read 2 books, and so it showed 2. Jiang read 4 books, so that's showing 4. Kara read 1 book, so I'm going to look at where 1 is. I'm looking at where 1 is, and I'm going to drag over, so this is where my bar is going to end, right here. And I'm just going to fill it in kind of like how they did it. So that's showing me that Kara read 1 book. And Jamila read 3 books. So my bar needs to end right here. So all of this is going to be filled in. So I'm going to put my line here because I know it needs to end there. And draw in my bar. Obviously it's not perfect, but there's my bar graph. All right, so now we're going to make another bar graph of pets. So this has already shown us, the title of our graph is called Our Pets. On the side here is the number of classmates of each pet, and down here are the pets. So this tells us Ella is making a bar graph to show the kinds of pets her classmates have. 5 classmates have a dog, 7 classmates have a cat, 2 classmates have a bird, and 3 classmates have a fish, or have fish. Write labels and draw bars to complete the graph. So they've already wrote their labels. These are their labels in the title. They've already done that. So we don't need to fill that in. We just need to finish the bars. So they've already filled in the dog for us. The 5 kids or 5 classmates have a dog. So that's why the bar ends at 5. So let's do cat now. 7 classmates have a cat. So our cat bar is going to end at 7. Oh, that's big. Now we're going to look at the fish. Or I'm sorry, bird. We're going to look at bird. It says 2 classmates have a bird. So that means our bird bar is going to end at 2. So that's how that bar is going to go. And then our last one, 3 classmates have fish. So that means my fish bar is going to end at 3. So there's my bar graph. I completed my bar graph and it's showing all the accurate data here. So now, how will the graph change if one more child gets a bird? Well, if one more kid got a bird, that would mean 3 kids have a bird. So the bar graph, so the bird bar would just go up to, or would end at the 3 instead of the 2. So that's what we're going to write. The bird bar would end at the 3 instead of the 2. All right, we're just going to look at one more, or we're going to make one more bar graph, and then we're going to be done with these lessons of bar graphs. All right, so Dexter asked his classmates which pizza topping is their favorite. 4 classmates chose peppers. 7 classmates chose meat. 5 classmates chose mushrooms. And 2 classmates chose olives. Write a title and labels for the bar graph. So before I fill out the numbers on here, I need to figure out my title and I need to write in my labels, okay? So what should our title be? What is our title? The title needs to tell us what our graph is about. So our title can't be like favorite pet or favorite board game, because that's not what our information is telling us. But our information is telling us favorite pizza topping. Now on the side here, we need to fill out a label too. So what is this? What are these 4 things? Well, how can we label that? Well, those are the topping. So this is going to tell us which topping is what, which bar. And then down here, we need to put a label. So what are these numbers standing for? Why are these numbers here? What do these numbers represent? These numbers represent the number of classmates. All right, so now we're gonna make our bars. So first, 4 classmates chose peppers. So that means our pepper bar needs to end at the 4. So this whole thing right here is going to be peppers. And my bar ends at the 4. The next one is meat. 7 classmates chose meat. So that means my bar needs to end at 7. And then I can make my whole bar. Five classmates chose mushrooms. So my mushroom bar is going to end at 5. You notice how I make the end mark first? Because that makes it easier to make the whole bar, because I know how long it needs to be. They all start at 0, and then they go to whatever number of classmates there are. And then only 2 kids chose olive, so my olive bar is going to end there. All right. So there is my bar graph of favorite pizza toppings. So my only question for this one is, which topping did the most classmates choose? Now, I don't even need to look at the numbers up here. I can just look at the bar graph very quickly. Which bar is the longest is going to tell me which one has the highest number of classmates. And I can see here, this is my longest one. And that means meat is the topping that most of the kids chose. All right, guys, so now you can go do your last PMT for the week.